I want to talk about something that's been a huge part of my life for the last year and a half, signs. Like signs from your guides, spirit, from the universe, from God, whoever or whatever language that you use. I already know what some people are thinking, and that's pattern recognition. That's coincidence. That's your brain trying to make meaning. And honestly, I'm not here to argue with anybody, because here's the truth. I do believe in this. I've had too many things happen to not believe it. And also, I'm human. And sometimes even people who believe in all of this, me included, can be still skeptical. Sometimes I'm cynical, and sometimes I'm like, okay, but is this real, or am I just looking for it? So this video is for two different people. One, the people who believe in signs and want to understand them better. And two, the people who believe, but still maybe don't trust themselves yet. Because I think the biggest part of receiving guidance isn't getting the sign, it's learning how to recognize it, receive it, and trust it without spiraling into this like doubt. For me, intuition doesn't always come when I'm sitting there like, okay guides, show me the message right now. It's actually the opposite. A lot of my downloads, my clarity, it comes at night when I lay down. The nights where you feel like you can't sleep and you have a million thoughts running through your head. For me, that's often when things will come through. I'll randomly get an idea for my business or a realization about my life or something that feels like it drops in fully formed, like that's what I'm supposed to do. And sometimes I'm like, where did that come from? And I've made videos about this before, how trying to force intuition can feel impossible because intuition is not a performance. It's not something that you can always command or have on demand. It's a relationship. It's a language. I want to say this clearly. Being skeptical doesn't mean you're not spiritual. It doesn't mean you're not intuitive. It doesn't mean you're bad at this. Sometimes skepticism is literally your nervous system being like, can we not get hurt again? Or can we please not get disappointed again? Can we please not believe in something and then feel stupid? And sometimes skepticism is just your logical mind trying to keep you safe, especially if you've been through a lot, especially if your life has been unstable, especially if you're in a season where you're already making huge changes. So if you're watching this and you're feeling like, I believe, but I don't trust myself, I totally get it. And I'm literally that person. But something started happening for me mid 2024, and it really changed the way that I relate to signs. I cannot pinpoint the exact day, but I know it was around June or July of 2024 when I started noticing the number 4 like a lot more. And what's wild is when I look back, that's also when my life started shifting in a way I didn't fully understand yet. Like, yes, I've always seen things like 9/11, 11/11. That's been a huge part of my life for a really long time. But this was different. This was very consistent. This was almost aggressive. Like the universe kept tapping me on the shoulder going, hey, pay attention. Look here. Don't sleep through this. And it wasn't just 4. It was 444, the 44th minute of every hour. Numbers that added to the number 4. 13. And then I realized 1 + 3 is 4. And I actually got married on the 13th of 2025. Sequences that somehow kept looping back to that foundation energy. And sometimes I wasn't even looking for it. My phone would like just light up and it would be 444 or 1244 or just like the 44th minute. And to me, that matters because it's not like I was sitting there refreshing the clock, trying to catch it. It was just literally appearing, like I was being met. Shortly after that, I found 2 pennies at 2 different locations within 24 hours of each other, and both pennies had the year 1994. Now, I had been told by a psychic medium that I needed to start paying attention to coins, like coins, dates on coins, what year they are. And honestly, I tried for a really long time. And for a while, I felt like nothing was happening. Like I look and I'd be like, okay, cool, it's a penny, and move on. But then I found these 2 pennies Same year, different places, within a day, and both were actually heads up. And I remember holding them and being like, okay, that's not just nothing. But here's what I want to emphasize. I didn't instantly just know what it meant. The sign didn't come with a label. It didn't come with subtitles. It was more like spirit saying, mark this, notice this, and just don't ignore this. And I think that's how signs actually work most of the time. And then shortly after that, my husband, Sage, and I went on a family vacation with my extended family to the Outer Banks. And all of the bedrooms in the beach house were numbered. We ended up in room 4. And again, I didn't think anything of this at first. We got there, we unpacked, and we lived our lives. Then a few days into the trip, I realized that the house number was 4. And I remember just pausing like, there it is again. And you could say you just noticed it because you were looking for it. But that's not what it felt like at all. Because half the time I didn't notice these things until later. A lot of the time with these signs, or when I was experiencing these signs, I would live in the moment and then it would click and I'd be like, wait, that's really weird. And it felt like my awareness was being trained, almost like my guides were teaching me a language. Here's what I believe now. Signs aren't always here to tell you exactly what's about to happen. Sometimes a sign is just an invitation. It's spirit saying to pay attention. You're at a turning point, you're being guided, there's something here for you. And it makes sense that they don't always spell everything out, because a lot of what we're here to do is learn how to trust ourselves. Like if the universe handed you a full instruction manual, you wouldn't build intuition, you'd just follow the directions. But when a sign shows up and it's subtle, it creates a moment where you have to practice discernment. You really have to ask yourself, what does this mean for me right now? What was I thinking about when I saw it? What decision am I avoiding? What part of me is waking up? These signs are interactive and relational. So anyway, let's go back to talk about the number 4. In the spiritual world, the number 4 is often associated with foundations, stability, structure, protection, rebuilding, grounded support in the physical world. And when I look at what happened after mid-2024, it's honestly insane how accurate the symbolism is, because around that time, my foundation started shifting. Not in some cute, inspirational way, in a real way. In a, my life is changing and I didn't plan it like this way. Around the time of the beach trip, I parted ways with my employees. And I want to say something really important. This wasn't necessarily a strategic decision on paper. Something in me just knew, and also it was a mutual decision between me and my employees. And a lot of it was just this quiet inner voice saying, maybe you should just take a break from employees and maybe don't rebuild that same structure, just to take a pause. And so I really listened to that, and I assumed it would be temporary. I assumed I'd just get back to employees again, because genuinely I was stepping into this mentorship role and really wanted to help people, but I never did. And now looking back, I can see that was part of my life reorganizing itself, because sometimes the universe doesn't rip the thing away from you violently. Sometimes it gently removes your appetite for that thing. Sometimes it takes away the energy for it, so that you stop forcing a life that's no longer meant for you. And now it's January 2026, and I'm in the process of a huge transition in my business and personal life. I feel like this has been a push, a nudge, a redirection toward a life that has more meaning for me, because I'm not the same person that I was when I built the spa, or when I initially became an esthetician, or when I started my first spa in 2016. I'm becoming something else right now. And what's crazy is I didn't anticipate that at all. I didn't plan on a vision board and say, in 2026, I'll be an intuitive guide. This more unfolded for me. And the signs were part of how I stayed awake during the unfolding. I also am a number 4 for my life path number. And the life path 4 is often described as mastery, responsibility, embodiment, discipline, long-term impact, building something real, and building something that lasts. And if you zoom out, my entire life has been about building skill, building a business, building structure, building safety, building identity. And I think what I'm learning now is that sometimes you outgrow the foundation that you built. And the next chapter isn't about building harder. It's about building truer, more aligned, honest, and more me. So recognizing that the number 4 has been following me, I don't take that as you need to stay in the same structure forever. I more so take that as you are in a foundation chapter and to pay attention to what's being rebuilt. Okay, so this is where I want to connect spirituality and the brain, because I think this is where people get confused. We come into this world intuitive. Before we have language, we read energy. We sense our environment. We feel safety or danger without needing words. But as we grow, we get trained into a reality that says, if you can't see it, touch it, measure it, prove it, then it's not real. So we start living from the front of the brain: logic, analysis, productivity, proof, control, survival. And that part of the brain is not evil, it's useful. But here's what I believe. When you're in a major identity shift, logic can't guide you through everything because your soul is changing. Your body's changing, your values are changing, your desires are changing. And so the signs become a bridge. They help your logical brain accept what your intuition already knows. They give you something to hold on to while you're crossing into a new life. And that's why even if someone says pattern recognition, I'm like, yes, and because maybe the universe uses our pattern recognition as a way to communicate. Maybe spirit works through the brain and not against it. One of the biggest traps people, including myself, fall into is they ask for a sign, they get the sign, then they doubt it. So they ask again, then they get another sign, and they doubt it again. And they just keep asking, not because they're receiving, but because they're not trusting. And again, I've done this too. It's like your guides are sitting there like, we've given you the sign 5 times, girl. But your mind wants certainty. It wants guarantees. And spirit doesn't always work like that, because the entire point is to rebuild your relationship with yourself. The sign is not meant to replace your inner knowing, it's meant to strengthen it. Sometimes we ask for a sign and it comes through differently than we expected. And we're like, I asked for a butterfly. And spirit will send you a conversation that you needed, a license plate, a coin, a song lyric, a room number, a penny, timing, a repeated number. And you're like, that doesn't count. But what if it does? What if signs aren't about controlling the message? What if they're about becoming receptive? Like the universe is giving us invitations all day long. But if we're too analytical and too stressed, too busy, too afraid, we miss them. Signs don't always get louder. Sometimes we just get more present. Here's what helps me interpret signs without spiraling. When you see a sign, pause and ask yourself, what was I thinking about right before I saw this? What decision am I avoiding? What feeling is underneath my current season? What part of me is trying to be reborn? Is this confirming something that I already know? Because most of the time, signs are not brand new information. They're confirmation, they're reassurance, companionship. They're your guide saying that we are here. This is huge. Intuition tends to feel neutral. It should come in clear, calm, simple, and it's like this, oh, that's it. Even if it's telling you something hard, anxiety, fear, and the overthinking mind, it's urgent, it's loud, it's spiraling, it's worst case scenarios, it's emotional. So if you're trying to tell the difference, if it's panicked, it's probably not guidance. And if it's calm and clear, even if it's inconvenient, that's usually truth. And breath work helps, grounding helps, even silence helps, because signs are subtle. And you can't hear subtle guidance in a screaming mind, which is why most of us will get all of these downloads while we're laying down at night, because there's so many distractions during the day. So what do I think the 4s were telling me? I don't think it was, here's exactly what's going to happen. I think it was, Your foundation is changing. You're being redirected. You need to pay attention, stay awake, build differently, trust what's unfolding, and that I am supported. And what's wild is the more I paid attention, the more aligned choices I started making. And those aligned choices led to changes I never anticipated, like releasing having employees, like pausing, letting the old identity soften, stepping into guiding and mentoring women on a bigger scale than just aesthetics, like moving toward deeper meaning. I did not force that. This happened because I listened. If you're in a season where you're seeing these repeating numbers or coins or synchronicities or patterns, I just want you to know that you're not crazy, you're not making it up, and you're not alone. Sometimes your guides don't give you this like full map. Sometimes they just turn on a light. Sometimes they just mark a moment. Sometimes they just say right here, this matters. And if you're feeling skeptical, even if you believe, that doesn't mean you're disconnected. It means you're learning to trust the universe, trust yourself, to set intention. I think it's important to always say out loud, I am listening, I am open, show me, and then live your life. And notice what notices you back. If you want, comment what signs you've been seeing lately, numbers, coins, songs, anything. I would love to hear what language spirit is speaking to you in right now.